Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
If the president had done his job from the beginning, all the people would still be alive. All the people, I'm not making this up, just look at the data. Look at the data.
Town hall last night, Biden, kind of a snooze fest. And it was weird. It was a drive-in town hall. So the way it worked is looked like it was held at a drive-in. And people get out of their cars. They come up and they ask him a question. And then he would answer. And his answer was always, it's Trump's fault. What would you do to fix stuff? It's Trump's fault. Trump's answer to everything is, it's the Democrats' fault. Okay? So both of your answers is the other team's fault? That's both of your answers? That's what you got there? I was talking to my uncle yesterday. My uncle's a huge Trump supporter. And if you knew anything about my uncle, let me tell you guys something. First of all, he's the world's best troll. He's Mexican. Your uncle's Mexican? Yes. Looks it. My grandfather's from Mexico. Immigrated here. And we got into it last night because he knows that I get frustrated with Trump. I get frustrated with everybody, by the way. And it's just very interesting, the Trump supporter side of things and the Democrat side of things. It's just very interesting just to watch the way they play off each other and how angry and emotional they get. My uncle and I, we joke around and we do our thing. We have a podcast we do, and we've been really busy lately. We haven't been able to get to some of the stuff, and you'll see some of the videos out there, and we have a lot of fun doing what we do. Biden last night was softballs. Trump the other night, he got harder questions. I expected that from CNN. There was times I felt like, did they write this stuff for him? I mean, it was like, does he know what's coming? He contradicted himself. No, he didn't. He got fact-checked by several media outlets. He did. He got fact-checked by several media outlets. The same media outlets that over time would say stuff about Trump that wasn't true or tried to categorize something by opinion. Well, my opinion is, yes, he may have done this, but the spirit of it wasn't right. Like this, it's just insane. But at the end of the day, we have two political parties who blame each other for everybody else's ills. As I was telling my uncle last night, why are people mad at Trump? And I said, Paul, at the end of the day, even if we look back and we lived in an alternative dimension, and that alternative dimension had Hillary doing something for the coronavirus or Biden, and things weren't going well, even people on his own squad, if you will, want somebody to blame. That's what being the leader is. I said the difference is, when it comes to Trump, is he never gets any of the attaboys when something is done right. And I said that's the frustration I have, is you can blame the leaders. You should. If something goes south, even if it's not their fault, they're going to have to take some of the blame. It's like sports, right? Like, who loses their job? The players don't lose their job, right? We don't stop voting. They're like, we're taking away your votes. No, you vote them out. You fire them, like with a coach. So everybody wants somebody to blame. And that gets frustrating. We need more than that. We do. We need more than it's your fault as a leader. Hey, who are you voting for? I don't know. Whose fault is it now? Oh, it's this guy's fault. Well, I'll vote for the other person. And then what? Well, then we'll yell at him when it's his fault. Or we'll yell at her when it's her fault. That's the frustration I think a lot of voters have. This, we want something else. We're not quite sure what it is. We got Trump. For some people, that's worked out. For some people, it hasn't. It's just frustrating as hell. I watched it last night. I was like, I'm going to go back and watch some of the football game, which I did. But it was just very frustrating when I'm watching Biden, and much like Trump the other night, you have opportunities. And this is where Biden excels. You could see the empathy. You understand he's got that. Nobody hates Biden. I've got friends who love Trump, live for Trump. My uncle's one of them. He doesn't hate Biden, didn't hate Obama. Worries a bit about Kamala Harris and the progressive left uber craziness. I get that. And this is where Joe excelled last night. I didn't, this is his thing, and I just thought it fell flat. Those debates are going to be huge. More from Biden's town hall.
About the lockdown. I was asked if, in fact, there was a national emergency, and everyone, all the experts said, lock it down. We're not talking about locking down the whole country.
So if the scientists say shut it down,
I would shut it down.
Contradicting himself. It's very, very political. That's what you do. What do I need to say in this moment in time? See, 30, 40, 50 years ago, without social media, without the opportunity to go grab stuff really fast, post it and say, you said this 2 weeks ago, you said this here, those kind of things would go by the wayside. What do I need to say in this building, at this moment, at this time, to these voters? And then they go about doing their stuff. And they say it. Now, the minute you say something, it's fact-checked, and you don't know if you can trust the fact checkers. Let's be real. Like PolitiFact and a lot of these other fact checkers out there, you go and read some of the stuff. Like I'll go and look at like PolitiFact and I start laughing because when you start reading down, is this true? Is it false? How did they rate this? Because I'll do my own homework, and a lot of times it gets down there. It's like, well, what they said was factually true, but what they meant, well, that doesn't count. Like, was it true? Yes or no? Was this true? But you heard him. It goes like that. Did he have his moments where he kind of was, well, Joe?
I look forward to doing that work together, doing it with you. It's part of how I was raised. I hope you join me and put the future within our reach, where states that, look, whatever state of life you're in, you can make a difference.
What did I tell you guys, though? That the word that he resets himself is look.
That, look.
Right? That's it. That's his resetting. That's what he does.
That, look.
So be looking for that in the debates. All in all, last night, it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. Nothing too exciting. The debates are where it's going to be at. I think Trump realizes that. I think Trump's going to come out and he's going to do everything he can. And it's going to be interesting to watch because Chris Wallace is going to handle this thing. And Chris Wallace is not afraid, as we know with Donald Trump, to go after him. And I don't think he's going to let Donald BS and lie his way out of stuff. And at the same time, he's going to hold Biden accountable for his past, the things he's done when he was a senator, vice president, ask him some serious questions. And remember, as we talk about all of this stuff, the most important part of these debates, when they happen, is that second question. The first one will lead you to the second one, and the second one is the one that matters. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program as well. Love hearing from every single one of you. I did watch a little football last night. Kind of enjoyed it. There were some fans there in Cleveland. It's got to suck, man. We were in Cleveland 4 years ago for the convention. And since then, like you go there and you look at this, and they've won a NBA title, and the Indians were pretty good, but now it's like they feel like they're getting rid of everything. That place just is dying for something good now. Like the Browns, can you just be good? But it was fun to watch last night. It was, because watching, there's some crowds coming back, and that was kind of interesting to watch the way that they handled compared to, college. Because you saw college last weekend, which was hilarious. So college last weekend, like they had situations where you had fans and they would be, social distance, and then they go to the student section and it was just like a regular Saturday game last year. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every one of you. Trump has finally done it. We're going to talk about that. But first, Rough Greens, RUFF greens.com/Chad. $14.95, 14-day jumpstart that will change your dog's life. My dog Doodle, I talk about him all the time. It's funny last night because I get at least one or two questions a day now about Doodle, my little dog, who we rescued, who is, and when he came to us, we thought he was like 5, and he ends up being like 9 or 10, and we've had him for a couple of years, and he was a hot mess, and we didn't know what to do. We were thinking about putting him down because of his arthritis and his hips. Next thing you know, we start giving him Rough Greens about 6 months ago. He is a brand new dog. He runs, he jumps, he does stuff that's just not what he did for the first couple of years we had him, and we tried everything. And Rough Greens is it. It's the little things that's gone a long way. Brings your dog's food to life. So it's not actual dog food. You just sprinkle on your dog's food. We're talking about, you go and you look, you got vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9. It's got all of this stuff that brings the dog's food to life, and it's changed everything about him, and it's given him a new lease on your life. It's the best thing he'll ever do. I've also started our puppies on it, and they love it. You will see a difference. Get your Rough Greens. $14.95, less than $15 for a 2-week jumpstart. Do it right now. RUFFgreens.com/Chad. Roughgreens.com/Chad. Simple and easy. Go there or call 833-MY-DOG-88. 833-MY-DOG-88. Rough Greens. We make any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Darn, that climate change. Batten down the hatches. It's Topical Storm Chad, headed your way.
The Commerce Department announced today it will prohibit American users from downloading the popular Chinese-owned mobile apps TikTok and WeChat. Citing national security concerns, Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross said in a statement the ban would prohibit downloads of TikTok or WeChat from app stores as of September 20th. President Trump had issued an executive order in August threatening a ban on TikTok if it didn't find an American buyer. WeChat is a popular messaging app, while TikTok is known for its short-form videos.
Yeah, so TikTok's huge, and apparently Oracle has come to some sort of agreement to purchase it. And, you know, the Federal Trade Commission, I guess, has okayed it and everything. But Trump is trying to push that, no, you know what, if you want it here, if you want any of these things, you're going to have to, we want it all or kind of nothing is what we're hearing. Or if you're going to have the American version, then you need to turn over the codes and some of the backdoor things so we can make sure that while we may have it in our hands, if you will, the American app and control, that we actually have control, and then nothing's given over to the Chinese. And I've got zero problems with that. I have zero, and it's an entertaining, fun thing. TikTok is. I like it more than the gram. It is entertaining and fun, but I get it. I absolutely get it. We're not the first. Other countries are looking at it. Why is that? Because nobody trusts China. Why? Because they have, what, 2 million Uyghurs in a camp? Yeah. Because they lie? Because it's all about them and the Communist Party and their dominance of everything? They make no bones about it. They're full of crap. And I'm not talking about the average person. Again, you go out and you start talking about stuff like, oh, you're a xenophobe. No, I'm being honest. I'm being 100% honest. Go look. Find out what it's like to open a business there. And we, as a nation, have really played into it. We've helped build this. We like our cheap goods. Our businesses moved over there. We consumed our cheap goods. We let them into the World Trade Organization. They took advantage of everything. They played by none of the rules, and everybody turned their back, which is what we end up doing more often than not. We don't hold anybody's feet to the fire. And it's not just us, the rest of the world. And everybody's starting to wake up to it. Look what they're doing in Hong Kong. These are things that are frustrating. And we sit here and we're like, well, you know, we say something bad about them, you know, supposedly. Is the way that they've perceived it when it comes to Hong Kong. Daryl Morey and the Houston Rockets, the NBA comes back, oh my God, take it down. Ugh. You got Disney thanking essentially the concentration camp curators in the Mulan movie. Hey, thanks a lot, guys, for keeping those people locked up. Solid. We're intertwined, but we've got to do better. And yeah, I don't trust them when it comes to this. You don't know where the data goes. You don't. And they're already doing enough to try to get in here. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program as well. Love hearing from every single one of you. I absolutely do. Last night, Joe was off. You know, he wasn't on his game like Joe probably was 6 years ago. He wasn't as bad as I think some people thought he was going to be, but it just was very bland. And there were times, and I'll say this just for the other show that I do, my on-air partner, he says to me, he just looks tired and old. And I said, yeah, I feel that way at times. It's a hell of a job, man. Look at the way they come out of there. He's 77. Not that that's like, oh my God, anymore kind of situation where you're like, oh, people live to be in their 90s and 100s all the time. In a comfortable way. Trump's older. But there's some optics to go with that. There's some reason for people to have a little, fear about what may happen if he's elected president. How long is he going to last? It's not a bad question to ask. It has zero to do with, well, you just hate him. No, it's a fair question. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Do you see ways that you've benefited from white privilege?
Sure, I've benefited just because I don't have to go through what my black brothers and sisters have had to go through, number one. But number two, grow up here in Scranton. We're used to guys who look down their nose at us. We're looked at people who look at us and think that we're suckers. Look at us and they think that we're not equivalent to them.
He makes such an argument for how so many people who vote for Trump feel about the Democratic Party. Not the Democratic Party's ideals, but their attitudes. Of if you don't live in New York, Seattle, Los Angeles, San Francisco, that somehow where you live, how you grew up, because you don't have some sort of fancy college education, that you don't get the gram, that somehow, we talked about it yesterday, about so many people in the Democratic Party think that they vote for Trump because it's a cult and he's brainwashed them and all of this stuff. No, a majority of them, like 99% of them, think he's full of crap most of the time. They like his actions. Remember, there's no ideology behind Trump. He just does what he does. He's not a conservative. The conservatives can't stand him, hence the Lincoln Project. But he just pointed out, he went from white privilege to, hey, he grew up here in Scranton. People out there in Philadelphia and people in New York and everywhere else, they look down upon you because you grew up in, Scranton, Pennsylvania, a working town. That's how so many people there who voted for Trump, who stand by Trump, even though they know he's full of crap. They like some of his actions, but what they also like, in fact, what they love, is the fact that he doesn't take crap and he gets in their face. They like that. And when I talked about it yesterday, people, oh, Chad, that's no way to vote for somebody. We don't vote for many people anymore. We vote against the other side. Hence the reason why last night and the other night, I keep saying the same thing. It's somebody else's fault. Right? Isn't that the way it works? Rarely, like I hear 2 minutes of, of a question and answer thing where it'll be, what are you going to do for A, B, or C? They give you their little stat answer. I mean, we don't need an hour and a half of policy, but they give you a small stat answer, right? Just a little one. That's a soundbite. And then the other minute and a half is how crappy the other person is. Well, if I can't change your mind or I can't get you to vote in my direction, if I can't get you to do any of these things, what I will do is make you think the other guy sucks more than I do. So many people like Trump because of the attitude he has towards the establishment. They wanted to see it shooken up. They wanted to see it somewhat broken and hopefully put back together. They're not fooled. They're not idiots. They don't think that Trump in any way, shape, or form is telling the truth all the time. But they like the fact that the media types, and they like the fact that the super uber liberals elite, as far as they're concerned, get pushed back upon, get called out, and they feel uncomfortable, and they don't really know what to do because they've never been, punched in the chops before, if you will. I get it. More from Joe.
If you didn't have a college degree, you must be stupid.
See what I'm saying? Joe's using the argument that Trump used for a long time. They look down upon you guys. That everyday working man thing. And for whatever reason, Trump resonated with them. Because Joe would be like, hey, well, let's get into unions and unions and unions and unions. And Trump's like, yeah, let's be free. Let's do some stuff. These people think you suck. I don't think you suck. I think you're cool people. They suck. They think they're better than you. And then you come out and insult them all the time. Talk about how you vote for Trump, you're a racist. You're ignorant, you're stupid. When I lived in California, let me tell you something. I lived in California most of my life. And I lived in London. And I've lived in Texas. And I'm here in Arizona. People in California, my friends, even us growing up, we'd think of certain parts of the country as backwards, back-asswards. But then you get out there, you get a little bit older, and you think because you have a beach that you're somehow cooler. You think because you have access to so many things that you never do, but because you have access to it. Because the stars are there, or because the media headquarters are there, or because... No. That's silly.
If, in fact, you didn't get to go to an Ivy school. Well, I tell you what bothered me, to tell you the truth. Maybe it's my Scranton roots, I don't know. But when you guys started talking on television about Biden, if he wins, will be the first person without a Ivy League degree to be elected president, I'm thinking, who the hell makes you think I have to have an Ivy League degree to be president? I really mean it. I found my backup. No, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Like, guys like me were the first in my family to go to college.
He wasn't the first in his family to go to college, and there's been plenty of presidents with no Ivy League degree. Reagan, I think, was the last one. Yes, it does help. You're there. You go to Ivy Leagues, Harvard and Yale, and one of the big things about there isn't the education you get, it's the connections you get. Education's great. The connections are even better. And there's also a lot of presidents out there in the olden days who didn't even have a college degree at all. And some didn't even really go to school. So, just, he's making the point. Everyday average Democrat guy or gal, raising their family, cool with, with marriage equality and choice, union. But then you start throwing around the social justice, political wokeness, all of these kind of things. It starts to make them feel uncomfortable. They're asking the questions, hey, I believe in the Second Amendment, and, maybe we need to look at some stuff. But you guys, law and order's real. You guys need to pay some attention to this stuff. Why is everybody getting canceled? Why can't people take a joke? Why can't we? And I always say, it's why Trump. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me and text the program. Love hearing from you. Coronavirus still here. I think we've kind of realized that. And the debate is there. We're still trying to figure out, what happens with the vaccine. Like, the debate yesterday was Redfield, so the CDC director, and Trump. Trump came out and said, well, he was confused. I don't think he was confused. I think he said the real thing. I don't think he lied, and I don't think you lied. I think there is going to be an announcement of a vaccine in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Pfizer's already come out and said they'll have enough data. But on the other side of things, where Redfield got it right, you and I, we're not getting it to 2021. And probably, I'm thinking we'll start to see the mass population, because the vulnerable first responders, the elder, they're going to get it first. The people who are at most risk. The general population will not be seeing that thing anywhere before March, April. He said probably June, July into, next year. It wasn't a lie. Neither of them lied. I think, Trump would like to see everybody get one early. But then you got the fact where people are fighting over vaccines. Like, I wouldn't take Trump's vaccine. It's not Trump's vaccine. He didn't come up with it. But that's where we are. That is the battle that is going on. And the vaccine, well, are you even going to take it? It's a fair question, because you have a lot of people out there. You've got different camps. You've got people that are like, no way would I take this vaccine. Some are anti-vaxxers. You get a few of those. You get some because it's Trump. You get some that are going to take it, period, case closed. Republican, Democrat, doesn't really matter. They're fine with the vaccine and they're okay. And then you get some that are, you know what, I want to see. I mean, I want to take it, but I want to see what this thing looks like first. I want to see how this thing reacts first. You're getting a lot of that. And that's understandable. That, to me, is completely understandable. Do I think we're going to get it in November? I think we'll get something. But to the masses, it's going to be a while.
If we had a vaccine, even a few million in November, it could make an enormous impact on the health of the country.
Yeah, because the people that are going to get it are going to be the ones who are most vulnerable to dying. If you look at the numbers, there were nowhere near the, well, Chad, you say that like it's no, the reality is remember, we started out at 2 million? Then 2 million got down to like 1.5 is what we were talking. Then all of a sudden we're closing in on 1 million worldwide. We've learned how to treat this thing 1,000 times better than at the start of it. People are taking more responsibility. They're wearing the mask. They're doing these kind of things. Well, it's spreading. Yeah, but here's the thing. The most vulnerable have probably, it's run its course through them. So it's run its course through them, which is sad, because not just us, but globally, we failed the elderly. And we didn't quite understand that those comorbidities were going to be as deadly. In saying all of that, we've got to start thinking, how do we return back to work? When do we kickstart this off? When does this get going again? When do we start living our lives again? When do we start going to movies? When do we start going out? When do we start doing the things that we did pre-coronavirus? Even if we've got to make a few adjustments until there is a vaccine, and we feel like, look, therapeutics and everything's knocked this thing out, and this is what it is. But the freak out, I've never been that person. People say, well, you supported Sweden, and Sweden said they failed at the beginning. They said we failed the elderly and underestimated. But at the end of the day, the average person in Sweden died. If you look up the numbers, most of them weren't even in their 70s. They were in their 80s and 90s. They were in homes. Well, we don't want anybody. It's so funny. You say, oh, like, nobody wants anybody to die. But the reality in life is people are going to die. I never hear people go, nobody texts me throughout the day and go, I can't believe that you're not talking about this many people dying of heart attacks or this many people dying of this or this many. I don't hear that. Because this became political. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me, text the program. Love hearing from you. Happy Friday. Hope all is well. Purple. So, you know, I sleep on my purple mattress. I was out last night. I was out like a light last night. So, passed out, and I love my purple mattress. I mean, I hit the bed and away I went. And so I got my purple mattress. It's got the grid. They have purple pillows. These purple pillows are incredible. Also has a grid. What I love about it is you never sleep hot. People like to sleep cool. You're sleeping on the cool side of the pillow always. It is incredible. Now, you get to try everything risk-free for 100 days. Free shipping, free returns. Put it to the test. The way it works with your head, the balance it has, it's just amazing. It truly is. And the sleep I get, and I tell people this, I'd rather get 4 hours of sleep and it be deep sleep that's rested than 8 hours of tossing and turning and feeling like, well, this was a waste. And my body doesn't hurt. And I put my body through a lot. Play a lot of sports, golf every day. I swing hard. I don't have any back issues, none of that stuff when I did before. And I found out it was my mattress. Right now, free returns, free shipping, 100 nights, risk-free. Financing available. It's great. With 0% for qualified buyers. Go to purple.com. Check out all of the stuff that they have. Take my word for it. You're going to love it. You're going to sleep like you've never slept because it is incredible. Head over to purple.com/Benson10. Benson10. All right? When you do that, you're going to save 10% on anything over $200. Purple.com/Benson10. Purple.com/Benson10 to save 10% on anything over $200. Terms apply. Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
This week, the NCAA announced Division I college basketball will start November 25th, 2 weeks later than the original scheduled start. The hope is over the Thanksgiving holiday, there will be fewer students on campus, allowing for a bubble environment for the athletes amid the COVID-19 pandemic. But leaders in Des Moines are pitching a college basketball bubble with high major and mid-major teams playing against each other at Wells Fargo Arena and staying at Des Moines hotels. It's still unclear if the NCAA Division I Council will approve non-conference games this season.
Yeah, that'll be interesting how they do that. Football, I think the Pac-10 looks like they may come back. All the conferences may rush to get back by the middle to end of next month and just play a shortened season in football. I think basketball is going to do everything they can. They may just play one hell of a big tournament. Who knows? We like it, though. Like, we missed March Madness. Let's not pretend we didn't. We all missed a little bit of March Madness. That's for sure. I did. I don't watch much basketball. I paid zero attention to the NBA playoffs. I know that the Nuggets beat the Clippers, and the Lakers will play the Nuggets. And I think It's the Boston Celtics and the Heat, but I couldn't tell you. And I know that not a lot of people are watching. The numbers are awful. That's what happens when you get woke. Right? No, that's not it. No, that's partially it. That's partial, and it's zero to. And the minute you say, I don't want social justice. I wouldn't want it if it was a pro-life message. I'm like, I don't want to watch this. I don't. Even if it's something I'm totally for. I was like, I don't. I want to watch the sports. It's like that's what I'm here for. But people can't take that. No, it's got to be because you're this or you're that, and you're just like. I can't talk to you. You're irrational. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Check out Chad Benson Show TV. That is the YouTube. Go there, check it out. Subscribe. Put up stuff daily. We're getting ready to do our putting in politics. We go out, play 9 holes with people, polar opposite worlds politically. Come together, play a little golf, have a little fun, talk about issues. In a way where we're united on something is we kind of probably all suck at golf. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I look forward to doing that work together, doing with you. It's part of how I was raised. I hope you join me and put the future within our reach, where states that, look, whatever state of life you're in, you can make a difference.
There you go, Joe Biden. Speaking Joe Biden. Look, that's what he says when he wants to recalibrate and try to get the wheels back on the track. That's his go-to. Look. That's what it was last night. It wasn't awful. It was boring. I thought he missed opportunities. I thought there were softball questions. I didn't think he answered anything. I mean, I gave Trump a C the other night. And by the way, I said this the other night. Listening to the questions, it was supposed to be Trump. These are undecided voters. Some voted for you, some voted against you, but they're undecided in this election. There wasn't one person at that thing the other night I thought, this person's totally decided. They were hostile. There was anything but that last night. Anything but. Anything but that. They were like, oh my God, can I get a selfie with you? It was one of those scenarios. At the end of the day, the debates will matter. At the end of the day, what is going to matter is how well Biden handles Trump in the debates. And for Trump, what can I do to show everybody this guy right here, he is not the person you should be voting for. I deserve another 4 years.
I am a McCain Republican, I am a Bush Republican, and I am voting for Joe Biden because I truly believe we are at a time of constitutional crisis.
Which is, you got to always say that, constitutional crisis. We're at a constitutional crisis. This is it. Constitutional crisis. This is what it is. Everything's a constitutional crisis. Everything's bigger than it. Oh my God, hair on fire. What's wrong? It's constitutional crisis. Okay, what part? It's like people I always talk to you about. So, I ask you guys this, and I would love to hear from you. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, tweet at me, text me. 323-538-2423. I answer my text. Nobody else does. People are always surprised. I want to hear from you. What is it about Trump that you don't like. And don't say, I hate him. Give me the facts of the things. And for those of you who support Biden, and you hear that he's going to allow the world to go to hell in a handbasket, and this is what it's going to be like, show me that. I like facts. I want to see it. It's like with the mail-in ballot stuff, what I get frustrated with. Well, there's going to be cheating. It's going to be widespread cheating. I said, well, you go and you look. Every day they're catching people. Every day it's this. Every day it's that. Are there issues? There's totally issues. Are there people out there that might try to do some stuff? Yeah. And I've always said the smaller races are the issues where if you're going to cheat, that's it. You do the smaller races. And by that, like city council, mayor, small town, little sway here, little sway there. But both sides have already built up their excuses. I asked yesterday on the old Twitter for Republicans or Trump supporters. I say Republicans. Trump's not a Republican. Trump is Trump. Are you going to accept it if Biden wins? And almost to a person, the answer was no. And I asked everybody who is a Biden supporter, or what I call it, just somebody who can't stand Trump, are you going to accept it if Trump wins? And almost to a person, they said no. So whoever wins, we're starting in a position with, we think you cheated. We think somehow you stole the election. Now, a couple people I've talked to said, look, if on the night, because the way it's being predicted and portrayed and talked about by the experts, and I've talked to several polling people who do polling for a living, and several people who are in the know, if you will, when it comes to how they think this is going to break down, how they've predicted stuff in the past, both locally and nationally. They believe on the night, Trump will probably be in the lead. But by Sunday, after the mail-in ballots and absentee ballots are cast, that Biden will then take the lead. The people I've talked to who are super Trump supporters say, look, if on that Tuesday night, Trump is down, then I would accept that. But if it magically flips, then I think there's an issue. And I think the Democrats would have an issue if the mail-in ballots come in and Trump wins. So, yeah, they've already gone against each other. So be prepared for a long, drawn-out legal battle unless one of them gets absolutely boat raced. But that's where we are in this country. Everything's constitutional crisis. Everything's hair on fire. Everything's the most important election of our time. It's the only elections going on. There's no other presidential election happening in 2 weeks. You're not competing against another presidential election. And this is the only one you're involved in. But do I think the world is going to come to an end and there's going to be this massive crisis and people are going to be burning down everything? I'm not just talking about a 6-block radius in Seattle run by absolutely the worst mayor in the country. Well, it might be a tie because Ted Wheeler in Portland may have her beat, Jenny Durkin there in Seattle. But I'm talking about real, like everywhere. Law and order breaks down. It's like zombie apocalypse. It's not going to happen. He settles down. Jeez. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Text the program as well. Love hearing from you. Vaccine, we're still waiting. Still waiting.
Pfizer or Moderna could come out with a vaccine ready for data approval in October or November, maybe a little bit later. But we may not be getting the millions of doses available to all Americans until the middle of next year. That's where the discrepancy is.
And that's the fight that went on for the last couple days. between his guy, Redfield, at the CDC, and Trump, where Trump came out and said, no, he was confused, misspoken. Redfield, but it became something that shouldn't become, and that's what happens now. Trump's going against this guy, and then, that's not, none of that was true. Trump said, look, I expect something to come out in the next 4 to 6 weeks. And we'll have a vaccine. But you and I aren't going to get the vaccine. People who are most vulnerable will be receiving the vaccine. First responders will be seeing the vaccine first. The massive dosages that we'll need for everybody to get, that will be coming later. That will be. For all of us. So, yeah, but it became something bigger than it should have became. And it becomes this massive thing because everything is politics now. Everything is politics. And it does get frustrating. And it gets frustrating because when I talk to people, and I talk to people all the time about this, they feel like if their person doesn't win, that magically their world is over. And I'm like, how do you put so much stock into one human being who has very little implications? There's very little implications on your life. I mean, there's very little. The implications that if he falls apart and everything goes into hell in a handbasket and somehow that trickles down to you, as if you have no control over who you are and what you're doing with your life. Well, no, I do. Yeah, of course you do. Of course. Local is more important. What's going on in your community, your city? See Nashville yesterday. The mayor got called out because emails started flying around that the coronavirus wasn't, when it came to the bars and the restaurants and stuff, they were hiding the numbers because they were so low. I'm just giving you a snapshot of it. It's all kinds of crap. And but that matters to people. That's local. That's your world. If you're in Nashville. We're talking about the fact that people are leaving LA. People are leaving San Francisco. They're not leaving because the federal government did something. They're leaving because locally it's gone to hell in a handbasket. That's why that's important. It's amazing, though. I've never been in a situation where I've felt so, like when Obama won and everybody's like, oh my God, now I can be proud of my country or whatever it is. And when Trump won and people the world's coming to an end. It's like, I've never thought that in my life. I thought, well, this will be interesting. I just move on with my life. I didn't wake up the next day and thought, well, the world's over. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me, text the program. Love hearing from you. And I will tell you this. If Biden wins and he becomes president of the United States, 4 years we'll be talking about the person he's running against, and the world will still be here. Unless Giant Meteor gets its way. HelloFresh.com. Went home last night, had a little HelloFresh. It was awesome. Loved it. Didn't take a lot of time. I was exhausted. Low calorie. Boom. About 15, 20 minutes. I was eating in about, 30 minutes. I had eaten, done, ready to relax, sat in the jacuzzi for 10 minutes, watched a little football, went to bed early. HelloFresh is amazing. Takes the guesswork out of stuff. There's 22 chef-curated recipes each and every week. You can choose from low-calorie, family-friendly options. You can choose from vegetarian. You can add meals. You can skip meals. It's totally affordable. What I love about this, too, is if you're like me, first of all, I work a lot, but so many of us, everything's changed. This is one less thing you have to worry about. But also, when you're looking to save money, how many times you go to the grocery store and you buy a bunch of crap that you don't need? And then you buy too much stuff, and then you throw food away. You're not going to do that with this. Portions are perfect, and the money you save is huge. I'm saving about 50% compared to when I go to the grocery store, and it's contact-free, delivered right to you. Get your HelloFresh now. Go to HelloFresh.com. Use promo code Benson when you do. $80 off your first box. Free shipping. HelloFresh.com. Promo code Benson for $80 off and free shipping on your first box. HelloFresh.com. Promo code Benson. Use it. You'll love it. And it tastes great. Chad Benson Show.
You stink like fear and white male privilege to me.
I do often out myself verbally as a gender. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm proud to be a gender.
Are you stupid? What? Are you kidding me? Not a great way to use your white privilege.
Some people get it, some people don't.
You're listening to The Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Let's take a look. TikTok is trending. The reason is the U.S. Department of Commerce prohibits TikTok and WeChat transactions to protect national security. TikTok will be banned from U.S. app stores on Sunday. So it came. It did. Thought so. Kind of very interesting. The way that it seemed to be. Now, from what I understand, Oracle has purchased or has been given the approval, and they've come up with a number and a figure to purchase TikTok, the American arm of TikTok, which is BitDance company, but they're a Chinese-based company. And so what happens from there, I don't know. But this is where we're at. So TikTok looks like it's going away, at least temporarily. Now, I don't know about whether or not, if you have it already, keep it. And we'll figure it out. Rosh Hashanah is trending. Ratchet. Nurse Ratchet. We know who Nurse Ratchet is. This is the precursor to it. Thursday Night Football trended. U.S. Open still trending. Big time. Jerry Harris, you don't know who he is. He's the star of Netflix's Cheers, was charged. Cheer, which is a movie about cheerleaders, Avi. Big. Been charged with child pornography, producing child pornography. And that is, he's denied it, of course. So this is a situation here. Hitler Youth. I love this. Hitler Youth was trending and trended all day yesterday. And we're going to talk about it because Trump wants patriotic education. Claimed left-wing rioting results of indoctrination in our schools. That's not true. Oh, yeah. I think we can all realize there's just some stuff going on in our schools. My little brother's being taught how to be woke at 10. There are some issues there. There is. Patriotic? How about we just learn some regular stuff? And it's funny because the people who are screaming this is about Hitler Youth have no idea what the damn Holocaust was about, for God's sakes. We talked about that yesterday. 18 to 39-year-olds who were just clueless about the Holocaust. 20% thought the Jews caused the Holocaust. 11% thought it was World War I. 5% thought it was the Civil War. And 3% thought it took place in Vietnam. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Joe Biden taking questions from voters in a drive-in style town hall on CNN. The first question for Biden, What plan do you have to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in the workplace? The former vice president said there needs to be direction from the top down.
We should make sure that we have national standards laid out so how people can, in fact, go to work safely.
He also said a unified message from the White House about masks and vaccines is important.
What presidents say matter.
Here's something. On the national standard, didn't the CDC and Trump and them come out with all these phases? Do you remember that? Like, we go back, there was all these phases about how you can start to reopen. And then every governor got their marching orders, like, this is what we would like you to do. But you're the way that the Constitution and our founding fathers built our republic was we have states rule. So I'm not going to have a national mandate because in theory I can't. Oh, I can mandate it on federal property, which is we talked about last night. But outside of that, it's a state rule. And then the governors went back and they decided, okay, this is what they told us that we should do. So I'm going to throw that away and we're going to do our own thing. Like here in Arizona, our Governor Ducey, like they announced, hey, everything was shut down. Right? Oh my God, everybody shut down. Oh! So everybody shut down. And then Governor Ducey and everybody got to phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And then we went to phase 12 and we skipped the first phase. It was what presidents say absolutely matters. 100%. It matters. But at the end of the day, you're in charge of you. You want to wear a mask all the time, 24/7, you can do it. Like that's, if you want to wear one when you sleep, if you want to wear one, you can. But most of us are like, well, I'll wear a mask here, I'll wear a mask there. They asked me to wear a mask. For me, I'm here at work. They've asked us to wear a mask, so I wear a mask. They're not taking away my freedoms. So I wear a mask. That's nothing wrong with that. And I only wear a mask when I am in a room, where there's a bunch of people. If I'm getting up to go to the bathroom, I'm not put on a mask. I'm just going to go to the bathroom really quick. I mean, it's, but we've turned it into something. We have. So you can have national mandates all you want. This is what, as far as like national standards. At the end of the day, your state is going to decide what's going on. And your governors are. And that's the way our founding fathers set it up. The states had the rule of their states. So we'll see. More from the excitement that was the Trump excitement last night. So this is Biden. They were talking about China. I want you guys to, they're talking about China and trade and all of this stuff and holding them accountable as we should. I wish Trump would do a lot more. I wish corporations would do a lot more. I'm doing everything I can now not to buy stuff from China. I implore Americans, if you have to, you have to. If you find something, you find something. I think we get it. But I just, and it's tough because we're so interwoven now. But the accountability needs to be held. So here was his answer on, you tell me.
They, in fact, would be denied that opportunity. I would also make it clear that when you, in fact, it's got to be, if any of that is being purchased by any government agency, that we will not purchase anything that is not made in America, including the downriver line of what has to be done, all the parts. You can't do what he's doing now. You can't do where he's given a tax break to companies that, in fact, go overseas, and then import the product back into the United States of America, even though the headquarters is here. The chain, though, you go overseas and they bring it back in cheaper than you being able to produce it. And so I'm going to make sure that it's made in America. I believe, and I mean that. We've been talking about this policy for 100 years.
Yeah. And that's not working. So let me get this right. I want to get this right, Joe. So you want to make sure it's made in America. Okay. Trump said that. That was his big thing. It's buy American, made in America, and the whole 9 yards. And, of course, he was a xenophobe and awful. So you want to make sure that you throw a bunch of taxes out there. You want to tax corporations to the hilt, and then you want it to be made in America. What do you think the consumer's going to do? Let's be real. Part of the reason that we saw companies go elsewhere, yeah, the overregulation, the taxes were a part of it, but the other thing was cheap labor equals cheap goods. And as we as consumers, we like stock them deep, sell them cheap. You know it and I know it. Crazy, right? A little bit. So I want to see what his tax plan. He showed us what his tax plan kind of looks like. Everybody's going to be paying more taxes. Is that great in a pandemic when we're trying to come out of something that was awful and horrible? I'm going to think no. Do we need to see? It's not about paying. Here's the thing, too, and this is something I try to explain to people. It's not about paying the taxes in the way that we look at it. Like Steve Bannon told Trump, raise taxes on the rich. Essentially, just go out there, keep it the same, raise it. Because he knows they're not going to pay it. You got tax attorneys for that. You got accountants. They're going to set you up so you can shelter and hide all kinds of stuff. They're not loopholes. They're legalities. This is the legal thing right here. Fix the tax code if you want more money. I've always been for a flat tax. Take away the write-offs. We're charging you this. We're moving on with our life. It should be a postcard side thing. You made X amount of dollars. You've paid this. Have a wonderful day. We move on. Fix the tax code if you're serious. But they're not. They're not. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. And you know why they're not? I'll tell you guys this right now. They're not because the same people that give to the Republicans give to the Democrats. Just letting you know. Imagine this for you. Producer Phil, can I ask you a quick question? Do you believe that dinosaurs exist? Or did?
I believe they did exist, yeah.
Okay. Did you know that there is a group called Christians Against Dinosaurs?
I was not aware of this information.
You shall be aware now.
Some might call it a Tucson icon. Others say it's a problem that needs to be dealt with. We're talking about that big dinosaur at the McDonald's on the east side. As News 4 Tucson's Priscilla Casper tells us tonight, it all comes down to one question. Did dinosaurs really walk on the earth?
Yeah. Did dinosaurs really walk on the earth? So you got this Tucson McDonald's. This thing has been here, this dinosaur, since 1994. The owners originally loved, their son loved Jurassic Park, so they made a deal and were able to get this dinosaur that was in the movie. It's like 45 feet tall, and that's a T-Rex. I'm telling you guys, so this is Christians Against Dinosaurs. They got like 30,000 Facebook followers, and I thought there's just no way in God's green earth this is real. There's just no way this could be real. First, I thought they're going to fight him. Is that what? Is this like something we should be watching, like UFC? But no, it's totally real. And this is some of the people. I'm like, this has to be a pair. Like Babylon Bee has to be behind all of this.
Well, the simple truth is that there is no such thing as dinosaurs, and there was never any such thing as dinosaurs.
DS Management, which currently runs the McDonald's, says they first thought it was a joke until many customers started calling, hoping to save Roxy Rex.
It's great for our communities. We love it. And I mean, we get so much support over it in general.
Yeah. I thought it was a joke. Now, there are people out there, the earth is only 6,000 years old, and there are some people out there, just the way that they talk about it, because this next guy, his name is Gerard. I'm like, this guy, this has to be a joke. He's got to be trolling everybody. because what he says just doesn't make any sense.
I would be willing to bet, without even looking,
Which is a great way to bet.
that
I'm telling you guys, without even looking, the best way to bet when you're going to go with stats, figures, and you have zero information is to make that bet.
homicide stats have risen since the dinosaur's been there.
So the dinosaur has apparently either the dinosaur itself is killing or it is running some sort of drug ring and it's a cartel or something.
Addiction rates, unemployment.
Addiction rates. Could you imagine being in rehab? How'd you get hooked? The dinosaur gave it to me. Said the first hit was free.
All types of negative energies. There is just no real proof for dinosaurs, and we challenge anyone who would tell us we're wrong.
So then they went to a doctor, paleontologist. This guy, and he's, by the way, he is everything you would hope a paleontologist would be or scientist would be. Like, if you could go to Central Casting and go, all right, I need somebody who is like, who could we get? And they're like, oh, we got this guy. This guy's perfect. This guy, his voice, the hair's a mess. He's everything you've dreamed of.
I'm finding it very hard to take them seriously, that this isn't just a joke. What's the evidence that they don't exist? We have museums full of fossils that says they do, and thousands of individuals who have collected them and seen them come out of the earth that said they do. Why on earth would this be the most elaborate, expensive, complex, difficult hoax ever perpetrated on mankind? For what purpose? And I mean, the costs would be in the trillions and trillions. And who's gaining? There's no follow the money.
Oh, as a believer, I just look over and shake my head and go, please let us find out it's trolls. I don't think it is, though. I know there are people out there that believe this kind of stuff, but I didn't know there was 30,000 that were. And apparently, according to them, they've had over 300 dinosaurs removed across the nation because of the crime and stuff that they commit. You want to remove something that's a dinosaur? A payphone. Because there's all kinds of crime happening at payphones. You ever drive by a payphone? You know what's going on there? Nefariousness. Total nefariousness. You know it. There's always three people that would never be caught anywhere else together. Right? Come on. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. There's always a guy that's in like a business suit and his tie's kind of pulled down. He kind of looks disheveled. Right? He's got a nice car. And then there's a grown man who's riding a BMX bike with no shirt and backpack. That's a payphone. That's a dinosaur. That's your crime. Get rid of that. Solve a lot. Telling you. Wounded Paw Project. Amazing organization. Love them. Incredible the work they do. What have they been doing? Well, they've been rescuing animals, dogs that we put to sleep, training them and getting them to our veterans, first responders, and their family who are struggling with disabilities from war, PTSD, from the struggles of returning from war and what they see on the job. And it is amazing the work they're doing. They need your help. A gift of vehicle would go a long way to making sure that these animals not only get saved, but get trained and get to our veterans, first responders, and their family. Gift of a vehicle is an amazing way to do it. Great tax-deductible gift. It's awesome, the work they do. Go to woundedpawproject.org. Find out how you can give. See the work they're doing. On top of that, you can give by going to smile.amazon.com, setting your support group up to there. The money goes to protect, advocate, and train these animals. And to see the work they do, it is incredible. WoundedPawProject.org, WoundedPawProject.org. You'll be saving a paw to save a life. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
People are texting in about, was that real, Chad? About Christians Against Dinosaurs. So they got a Facebook page, got about 30,000 followers or something, and I mean, they're trying to get this, supposedly they're trying to get this dinosaur removed. How could people not believe in dinosaurs? And I just told Phil, there's the majority of 18 to 39-year-olds don't believe about the Holocaust, don't know anything about the Holocaust. Some 20% of them believe the Holocaust was caused by the Jews. So, yes, I can see that. I can see that there are people out there. It's scary. What were you saying, Producer Phil, that with the Kanye thing, that one of the teachers, a teacher said that they were duped by signing something?
He was a government teacher, and he said he was duped into signing a petition to get Kanye West on the ballot in Virginia. Now, don't you read? You're a government teacher.
Yeah. No, they don't. Nobody does. That's just amazing. And I asked a couple millennials yesterday because my local show, we've got our executive producer. He's 38, so he was in the age range of the people that they talk to about the Holocaust. And then the other one, he's 25. And both of them said, look, the older one, Joe's like, yeah, I know of the Holocaust, but we didn't really study it. He goes, we only spent a few, in school, we didn't spend that much time even on World War II. It was just very kind of like, German's bad and Pearl Harbor and, very small bits and pieces of stuff. And I get that you get into college, and if that's where you want to go with history or certain things, you can go deeper into that, and that's what you find out. But there's just some things. And I said yesterday, look, I was me growing up, almost 50, grandparents fought in World War II. Holocaust survivors were far more plentiful and in society. They weren't. Now you go and you look, and the people that are Holocaust survivors were children. And there isn't many of them left, just like we're losing our World War II veterans. But it was a situation where it wasn't history in the sense that it was, oh my God, nobody's alive from those days. It was, no, we had people. But still, the Holocaust. Most people don't know. And the fact that people thought it was in the Civil War, and the fact that people thought it was in Vietnam or World War I and both of them yesterday, the millennials I talked to, said, don't blame us. Blame the education system. I said, well, that's not hard to do. I'll tell you that right now. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from you. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
If the president had done his job from the beginning, all the people would still be alive.
Huh?
All the people, I'm not making this up, just look at the data. Look at the data.
What? That was Biden last night. So if Trump would have done what? I'm just curious. If Trump would have done what? Everybody would still be alive. Because now they're saying that they believe it was here in December. So you're talking about him doing what? I'm looking at the data. You're telling me to look at the data. All the people, all of them? So nobody would have died? No, nobody died? He was called out for that. He should have been. Not just, and he was called out afterwards by even the media that was absolutely in the bag for him. They were just like, I don't buy it. All the people. And he went back to, if you would have worn a mask, here, it would have been this. And he said, ooh, hindsight's 2020, right? Like, oh man, if you'd have only bought Apple at $1 a share. It's like, okay, thanks. Solid. So that's your investment tip. Man, Tom Brady shouldn't have thrown that pass. It's like, okay. Monday morning quarterback. Last night was, it was not as contentious. I thought he had his moments where he was okay. The empathy side of things for Biden is that's where he revels. Where he's like, he can connect one-on-one. Trump is awful at connecting one-on-one in situations because it's about Trump. The other night, you have a black man come up there, says, your slogan is "Make America Great Again." When has it ever been great for black people in this country? In the ghettos, he said, in the projects. And Trump's like, well, as you know, I'm doing really good in the polls with African Americans and Latinos. And it's like, that's not where Biden, I think, connects much better in a situation like that. Absolutely. I think we can all kind of agree that that's, Biden is way more empathetic. In saying all of that, it wasn't anything spectacular, and I think he is. You saw last night was one of those, and I still feel. I said, you watch, something's going to come out where somebody or two or three of these people were supporters of Biden big time, because some of it just felt so canned, like he was answering the question before they even asked. But the whole Trump would have done something, everybody'd still be alive. I'm like, that's not even close to being true. At all. At all. Contradicted himself about lockdowns.
About the lockdown. I was asked if, in fact, there was a national emergency and everyone, all the experts said, lock it down. We're not talking about locking down the whole country.
So if the scientists say shut it down,
I would shut it down.
Okay. So that was him last night, and that was him with David Muir the other day. What do you guys want me? What do you want to hear from me? That's the way it should start. What do you want to hear from me? Do you want to hear I'll lock it down? Then I'll tell you. And that's very political, isn't it? You walk out, lick your finger, stick it up in the air, see whichever way the wind blows, and then you give the people the answer that they want, not the answer that they truly need. What would you have done? Because you get to go off of what Trump has done and say, well, I'd have done the exact opposite. Too often that we look at politicians and first of all, we put too much stock into what they have to say and how it affects our lives. Local matters more than national. You feel local. People in California are pissed because Gavin Newsom and the local powers that be have it's them that shut it down. You can have all the mask mandates you want, but they're pissed. They're angry. They feel like, well, what's going on here? They're looking around, and then they'll say, well, it's all Trump's fault. No, you don't get to do that. It's you. It's the beauty of our country is we've got state rights. Isn't that what we want? Our state to handle their own thing? Of course. We don't want a king. We opted not to have a king. They said, George, do you want to be king? He said, no. I don't want to be king. So what would you have done? It's easy to say after the fact when you're not the one who was in the middle of it. Have there been things that I've been absolutely disappointed in Trump? Yes. Those things came afterwards. Those things came after all of the other stuff. The phone calls, this, that, and the other with Woodward, all those things came afterwards. The poo-pooing the mask, The saying it's going to go away, and you watch. Those things frustrated the hell out of me. The fighting all the time and turning everything political. Those things did frustrate me. But I think it's fair. You know, everybody's like, well, I would have done this, I would have done that. If you go and look at the list of things he did, like from late January through February into March, you're like, wow, I didn't realize that. No. What else would you have done? But the frustration level is up to here because we want somebody to blame, and I get that. And Trump, as president of the United States, you need to take the blame for this. You saying, I accept no responsibility, that pisses me off. You say, you know what? It's my watch. This is my bad. I got to take the responsibility for it. We thought we were doing the best we can. He failed at that. I'm not blaming him for the coronavirus. Some of his response I thought was okay. Some of it was good. Some of it sucked. But it's easy to sit there when it's already happened and have that hindsight trading.
To enter the school when it becomes safe and available to the public because I love teaching, but I don't want to die and have my wife lose another best friend like how she lost her mother to COVID-19.
Oh, man, I'm so sorry.
And this is where he got the empathetic thing. Trump would have said, well, the science is fine. You got to look at the science. You're not going to get it from kids and die. It doesn't really transmit that way. A lot of stuff out there. Look at the poll numbers and look at the this is where he excels. Biden.
Joe, look, first of all.
No, you're Joe.
I don't trust the president on vaccines. I trust Dr. Fauci. If Fauci says the vaccine is safe, I take the vaccine. That we should listen to the scientists, not to the president, number one. Number two, I think we should be requiring that you have, it's estimated by superintendents around the country, in order to make schools safe for returning, we need to spend about $200 billion to do that, to sanitize, to provide for more teachers and smaller classes and smaller mods.
Okay, so we spend $200 billion, and then it'll be $400 billion. And then it was, the frustration for a lot of people and parents out there, and parents in New York are pissed because they were supposed to start school. Now they've kicked it back another couple weeks, and they're pissed off about that. Like, why are you doing this? This is ridiculous.
The parents are more upset about it than even the kids. My kids sort of go with the flow. I think that they're disappointed, but they'll be okay. I think the parents are actually the ones that really just want to get the show on the road.
Absolutely. Because they feel like, what was the report last week? Could be up to 4 million parents have to leave their jobs to teach their children. You don't think that has an effect on the economy? Of course it does. Biden. Well, you can't trust the president. Okay. That's not divisive. It was just, I want more. I want more questions that are real. I want follow-up questions. One thing the other night is none of those people that went there in Pennsylvania with Trump to do his town hall, none of them, they had all made up their mind. It was supposed to be undecided voters and things. No, none of those people were. They were antagonistic and they came hard. And I like that. You don't need to be antagonistic, but you can come hard. You can ask real questions. You don't need to be a jerk about it, but ask real questions. And I want real answers. Don't tell me what you think I want to hear. Tell me the truth. I want to see what this debate's like. What happens if Biden's awesome? What happens if he's great? What happens if Biden falls on his face? If you're a Democrat out there and you're unsure about Biden and you see Biden just stumble and wander around aimlessly and say stuff, then you're like, I have no idea what what is he saying? I have no idea. He's here, he's there, he's all over the place. When you hear that, what are you going to do? And like I said, what if he's amazing? If you're on the right, what do you do? But these things will be more telling than I think ever before for those undecided voters, or those voters who would have loved to at one time voted for Trump again, now feel like there's no way I can vote for him and I have to vote Biden. And then over the last several weeks have said, well, I'm going to hold off until this. This is going to be big. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Text the program as well. Love hearing from you. TikTok banned. Banned. So you can't download the app. WeChat is not being downloaded either. Worry of spying, things of that nature. I totally get it. It's a fun app, but not trusting the Chinese, I get that totally. So starting Sunday, you can't download the app anymore. Now, I don't know what that means if you have the app, but that's where we are, and that's big. And TikTok, Trump said we want an American company to have it, and Microsoft tried to get it. Oracle apparently has agreed. I think the State Department and the Federal Trade Commission said it was okay, but it's only going to be the American version of it. So I don't know what's going to happen. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program as well. Masterclass. I was looking on there yesterday, so I go to Masterclass. So if you don't know what Masterclass is, imagine learning, anything you want to learn. I've always wanted to be a photographer. I've always wanted to be a director. I'd love to learn about politics and stuff, or this is what I find cool. So you can go there and say they've got everything. So business and politics. So okay, so you go to business and politics, and Bob Woodward's on there. Robin Roberts is on there. Bob Iger, Paul Krugman, Howard Schultz, Sarah Blakely. You can go learn from these people. Maybe you want to learn about culinary arts. They've got everybody. Wolfgang Puck, Gordon Ramsay. They're going to teach you all of these. It's just amazing. So something that you may want to turn your hobby into something that becomes a career. But these are all the masters of their class. The masters being the kings and queens and the they and thems of the world that they live in. You get about 20 lessons per class. They're about 10 minutes each. You can consume it as you want. You want to do it on your phone. You want to do it on your tablet. You want to do it on your smart TV. You want to learn how to play chess. Kasparov. You want to learn how to play poker. Phil Ivey. You name it, they've got it. They've got downloadable materials, recipes, workbooks to go with it. And right now, you're going to save big. 15%. You're going to get unlimited access. That's what I love. You get unlimited access. And you watch, you'll get sucked into stuff like science with Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's just, you're like, whoa. Next thing you know, you're like, I didn't know I want to learn about this, but it's just great to learn. It's amazing. Go now, save 15% just for being my listener. Masterclass.com/Benson, masterclass.com/Benson. Save 15% now. Unlimited access. Not very expensive at all. Masterclass.com/Benson. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
We're for law and order. They say don't use that term, it's too tough. No, everybody wants law and order. Minorities want law and order. Everybody wants law and order.
You know who doesn't want law and order? Anarchists and criminals. So he is factually wrong. I'm waiting for somebody to check him on that. We found this to be mostly false. Half true. He gets 2 Pinocchios for that. Wouldn't that be the thing they do? He gets 2 Pinocchios? Yeah, because we've talked to the anarchist and to criminals, and they feel that they would like to not have law and order. Oh. Couldn't you spin it that way, though? Like in the world of fact-checking, like who fact-checks the fact-checkers? Like because I'll go on PolitiFact every once in a while. I'll go on a few of them, and I'll look them up. So what he said, or what whoever said, and I just want to see what they say because I do my homework, and a majority of the time, It's baloney. Like, they took down that Trump ad with saying that it was factually untrue on Facebook about Biden saying he was going to raise taxes and some of these things. And no, he says it. Where's the lie? Where's the disinformation? In our opinion, is not facts. In our opinion, doesn't count as facts. And I know there's a gray area in a lot of things because some people have all of the data or a good portion of it. Other people have a portion of the data and they thought they had all of it. But when somebody says, I'm going to raise your taxes, and then they say, well, we're taking down your ad because we feel that you're not telling the whole truth and you're trying to explain away the something. That's just, it's insane. So many battles in this weird world we live in. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Like a boomerang right after getting told they could reopen indoor operations next week, restaurants, churches, nail salons, gyms, zoos, museums, and movie theaters in San Diego could again learn they have to go outdoors only as the county teeters with COVID-19 rates that have again risen. This restaurant operator says there's a debate whether it would just make more sense to keep things closed indoors instead of opening and closing over and over again.
I can see how some of our fellow restaurants do benefit, even if it's briefly, from being able to open up their indoors.
It just sucks. Yeah, no chance. You're a small business. What do? Back, forth, boomerang. Same thing with schools. You're going to start tomorrow. Nope, actually, we're going to kick it back a week. We don't have enough teachers. Actually, we have enough teachers. They just don't want to come in and teach. I am paying money for my son to go to school at his school, which is closed. I'm having to pay extra money so he can go in and learn online at his school and have interaction with other people. Because a couple of the other parents, they offer this in-school schooling online. I'll draw a picture. His school's closed. They offer something at his school online, in person, with his teachers. Now, the one thing I will say about his school is they're on point. They are so on point as far as compared to all of the other classes and things I'm seeing. They are completely on point. They crafted this. It is easy, and it's a STEM school, so all the kids are very computer literate. The teachers are as well, but it's frustrating. But Jack's mom and he needs to be around his friends. He was starting to have rage fits and being angry. He hadn't seen his friends in months. And so a lot of the parents, they're all talking. They're like, they should, this thing's being offered. Everybody should go. And it has made a world of difference. It's tough. It's a weird world. And now we're getting ready to take on the flu. Here's the thing. I don't think the flu's going to be that bad this year. I don't. I look around and you're seeing and hearing from around the globe what the flu looks like.
Every year we look to other parts of the world to give us some clues as to what we might expect in our flu season. They are reporting lower flu rates in Korea, Taiwan, Singapore, Hong Kong, South Africa, Australia. Obviously, That is good news. When you look at the U.S., spring 2019 to spring 2020, we saw a 17% drop in flu. Common sense to connect the dots on this one, that likely this has to do with all the anti-COVID measures.
Yeah. If you have to wear a mask, you have to social distance. Kids aren't in class, which they're big spreaders of the flu, and they get it worse. On top of that, people aren't going to work like they used to. People are working at home. I mean, you start putting it together. It shouldn't be that big. And then you've got this, because they're going to start monitoring. I was like, so who's COVID? Who's flu? What's that look like? Okay, let's start breaking that down.
When in doubt, check it out. If you don't get seasonal allergies and you start having upper respiratory symptoms, sure, that could be COVID. It could be a common cold. It could be influenza. The key difference is really fever. You don't see fever with seasonal allergies, but a lot of times you don't see fever with COVID either. So again, testing will be important. Know yourself and be in communication with your healthcare provider.
Yeah, just be smart. It's that simple. It is frustrating, though, with all of this. You know, I hear it from parents all the time. You know, now we're heading into the flu season. Yeah, here's a question for you guys out there, because I like to have questions. Like, we like talking, right? We like talking. I figure we're all a big team here. You know, you guys are all my ride or die, and I'm that way with you. I love all of you. I love when you guys slap back at me, and I love all of that stuff. Some of you get a little crazy out there and say some stuff, but, you know, by and large. But here's a real question. Will this transfer over in the future? So let's say we get a vaccine and we're able to really put a lid on this thing, get back to normal. And we're really not worried about it anymore. It's, it's not even the flu anymore. It's like, it'll still be around, but it won't be as bad as the flu. Do you think next year, during flu season, people will consciously semi-social distance and wear a mask? I think it's a fair question. I mean, would you? If we could, if people are so worried about preventing deaths and all those kind of things, would you? Well, something that's interesting. Speaking of mask, this is a kid after my own heart. Producer Phil, you'll enjoy this story. Kid goes to school. Is told you need to take your mask off, youngster.
11-year-old Ann Golba has been wearing a mask from Hooters since he went back to class.
Excuse me?
11-year-old Ann Golba has been wearing a mask from Hooters since he went back to class at Sunset Park Elementary last month. But earlier in the week, the principal told him
he said it was inappropriate because it expresses women's body.
Yeah, bodies. Now, this is what I think happened. So he's got a Hooters mask. It just says Hooters on it. Doesn't say anything else. It's a restaurant chain. We all know that. We all know they serve wings and stuff. Maybe or maybe not. The girls tend to be a little easier on the eyes. Well, we get it. But it's a family-friendly restaurant, by the way. But all it says is Hooters. And my thought process is, Karen's like, it's got to be somebody's mom who saw him wearing the mask when they dropped their kid off at school and walk their kid in because they're helicopter parenting, and they saw him wear the Hooters mask, or a teacher, and she's all, you can't wear that, it's totally mean, because she hates Hooters and she hates any of that stuff, and she's all #MeToo, and she's woke, and she's all pissed off at the world, ew, and she totally was super snitchy, and he's been wearing it for a while, right? You know it's not another kid. You know it's not. Continues.
Father Steve disagrees.
He has not thought that there was anything wrong with his mask, nor does he think there's anything wrong with the restaurant.
So Steve called the school's principal.
He told me that it was deemed offensive, and I don't understand that. I told him, I said, I do not understand how that is offensive.
Steve.
Yeah, how is that offensive? It says Hooters. You have Tilt-A-Kilt out there, don't you, Producer Phil? Tilt-A-Kilt, yeah?
I don't think so, but I know what it is.
Yeah, Tilt-A-Kilt's kind of like Hooters, but they wear kilts. And you wouldn't know what that is. Most people, they may not like, but if you wore that, it's just the name Hooters. There's no nudity. It says the word Hooters. That's it. And I'm always like, when people always say I'm offended. Okay, but why are you offended? We don't push back in this country the way we should, which is ask questions, which starts a conversation. Because maybe you're offended because, I don't know, you weren't, I don't know, something bad happened to you at Hooters, or the food sucked and you got the runs, or I don't know. You've tried to be a Hooters girl and they're like, no, dude, you can't do it. Or I don't know. But why are you offended? And who are you offended for? Are you genuinely offended? Or you think it's the right thing to do is to be offended? Because we have a lot of that in this country. In fact, I would think 95% of the woke world that we live in right now is manufactured because it feels like it's the right thing to do.
Steve thought maybe school administrators would change their mind, but Ian says he was told to take it off during gym class.
I believe it was a counselor that came.
Karen, the counselor.
She told me to take it off and that it was inappropriate, so I needed to take it off.
Well, that sounds appropriate to say to a young boy. Karen, the counselor.
I asked her if I was allowed to wear it inside out. And
wait, you're worried about COVID-19 and you're asking, the kid's going to flip it around after he's been breathing on it and all of this stuff, and you're cool with that. So let's walk this thing back again. Hooters, phenomenal family restaurant. Absolutely amazing. Incredible. I took my little brother Spencer there. He's in a wheelchair. For those of you guys who know, my little brother Spencer, it was a few years ago. I think he's going to be 16 this year. But he's got cerebral palsy, he has brain damage and stuff. And I told my mom, I said, taking him to Hooters. I said, he needs to get out of here. He needs to see other women. He needs to have fun. I treat him like he's my brother. I don't treat him any different. He's got his issues, absolutely. But there's a good portion of him I do believe it's there. But he's got brain damage, he's got cerebral palsy, eats out of a tube, drinks out of a tube. But we went. We're going. We're having fun. Oh, goodness me. Talk about it. That guy's, dude, he slays, Producer Phil. That kid slays. You have no idea. He slays.
I asked her if I was allowed to wear it inside out, and she said yes, I was allowed to wear it inside out.
Steve says Ian doesn't like all this attention.
He was afraid that he was going to get reprimanded and in trouble and perhaps suspended from school. I've never viewed it as anything but a restaurant. I mean, do we feel the women's body is offensive?
Some of them.
I don't know. I don't. Why it's inappropriate? It's not. There is nothing wrong with that mask.
Steve plans to take his son back to Hooters.
What's the best part about going to Hooters? Why do you take your family there?
We do like the chicken wings. They have the best chicken wings.
Oh, my Lord. Come on. Let's have some fun. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us and text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. CarShield does an amazing job of protecting your car and your wallet. Cars on the road much longer. On average, about 11 and a half years. Even if you get a warranty with your car, in many cases, that warranty ran out a while ago. How are you protecting yourself in the eventual dreaded the check engine light comes on or the air conditioning doesn't work? Well, that's where CarShield comes in. CarShield, you get 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free when your car's in the shop. The great thing is you choose the shop. Take it to dealership, wherever you want to take it. They get them paid directly. And from there, it's simple and easy, kids. You pay a small deductible, your car gets fixed, saving yourself potentially thousands out of your pocket. Peace of mind and protecting your bank account. That's what CarShield's all about. Rates start as low as $99 a month. What are you waiting for? Call CarShield today. 800-CAR-6000. 800-CAR-6000. Mention code Benson saves you 10% right there. Or check them out online at carshield.com. Carshield.com. Code Benson saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
President Trump repeated much of his campaign stump speech, attacking liberals who he says have destroyed or lobbied to remove reminders of the nation's slave past.
Attempting to demolish this treasured and precious inheritance. We can't let that happen.
The president creating a patriotic education commission to counter a 1619 project which presents an African-American view of slavery and oppression. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
By the way, the 1619 project is a joke. It is a joke. When you're starting to rewrite history, you're starting to look, kids can go to school now and you get a nice dose of I hate America. And, you know, we talked about the other day, my little brother. So if you're new to the show, real quick overview. My nieces and nephews, my mother's adopted them. So I have a brother that is 10 years old. I have another brother that's 8. My 10-year-old little brother who has an IEP, he struggles in everything. And his dyslexia is so awful. It's like hieroglyphics when he writes. You're trying to figure. He's in class, IEP, special needs, and they're learning about woke, Black Lives Matter, and all of this stuff. My mother was beside herself. She goes, when you get older and you want to talk about stuff, he can't read. So but this is what's going on. And I understand it. Look, it's frustrating. It is. I think we should talk about things. And I absolutely think there are things that we should be learning. And we should not forget any of our history. We should own up to our history. We should also not lay blame at the modern times for our history. And we need to be honest. I think there are times and places. And then when you get to college, you look around, let's be real. That is a place that is a bastion of liberalism where there is no other point of view wanted or tolerated. None. Zero. Unless you go to a school that, you know, like Liberty, like a Christian school. Outside of that, you're not wanted on campus if you have a different viewpoint. So you put your head down and you keep your mouth shut. That's what you do. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us, text the program. Biden did his thing yesterday. Trump did his thing. They'll debate in 2 weeks. One of the things they'll be debating about is everything from climate science to this, that, and the other, and what's going on here.
The president in the battleground state of Wisconsin, where cases of coronavirus are on the rise, speaking to a mostly maskless crowd.
We're doing great. We're doing great with vaccines and therapeutics.
Presidential candidate Joe Biden emphasizing trusting scientists over the president, saying on CNN,
that all I know is that the rank and file people, the scientists in each of those agencies, are solid and they're serious. But you've seen how the president has tried to push things through and put a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, pressure's fine. Anybody out there ever felt pressure at work? Should we have pressure? Government, I think for a lot of people, I think our frustration for years with government, we've all said it, is, you go to the DMV or you get to these places. It's the same way from the state level all the way to the federal level. There never seems to be any urgency and there's very little accountability. And having somebody breathe down your neck all the time and saying, look, we got a deadline. Close the business means close the business. We need to get this done. Now, there's a safe way of going about doing it, and I will listen to the doctors because I listen to science. People, it's funny, when you have a different viewpoint based on somebody else's science, we looked at this in a different way. These people say that. This person over here says that because we got a lot of this with it. It's you're a science denier. You're a science denier, and that gets very frustrating because that becomes accusatory, and you're not having a conversation. You're looking for an argument, and that's what we all too often get. We don't have conversations in this country. It's so frustrating. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us, text the program. Chad Benson Show TV. Check it out. It's YouTube. Try to post some stuff daily. Usually give you a quick 60 seconds on thoughts from the day's happenings. And we do other videos as well. Getting ready to do a thing called Putting in Politics. We're getting ready to head on out to the links. Play some golf. Laugh at each other. Talk about politics. We're going to get people from all walks of life, different points of view, and we're just going to chat about politics. And we've got a unifying thing that we're playing golf. We may be good, we may suck, but it's about having a conversation, and we need more of that in this country. find the things that unite you, and then go from there. Have a blessed, wonderful weekend. We'll do it again on Monday. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.